Hey, it's the Scotch Test Dummies. Today we're bringing our top 5 ryes for 2016. What does that mean?
Well, it's a new edition. We haven't done this before.
Nope. First time. We didn't do it in 2015.
Nope.
So this is the first time we're adding ryes. All this means is that it's ryes that we tried in 2016.
Yeah.
We had about how many?
At least 20.
Right around 20. So we've got great sampling to put out what we think for us are our top 5 ryes. His top 5, my top 5 for what we tried in 2016.
Yeah, we'd gotten a lot of questions from people about ryes. Which one should I start with? Which one's good to try? Blah, blah, blah.
Right.
We've talked about doing a Sweet 16 rye shootout.
We're going to do it. We are going to do it.
And we weren't going to do this top 5 ryes because of that. And then I said, well, why don't we do the top 5 ryes and let's see what happens with the shootout and if there's any conflict there.
And I said genius. Because
Bam, let's do it.
We're going to do some of these shootouts are going to be, well, not some, they're going to be blind, so we're not really going to know. So I know what I like in my mind over the course of 2016, but I'm going to be very intrigued in what happens when we do this massive shootout. Not all 16 at once, but like 4, 4, 4, and 4.
It'll be like a bracket.
Get a feel. Yeah, we'll do some kind of bracket. So, but to get started, my number 5 rye that we tried in 2016 is Rittenhouse rye. This had been suggested by fans. They said, if you're going to try rye, go out and try this. It was this unbelievable price. You picked it up.
Yeah, like $22, $23.
I wasn't sure. I was like, well, I don't know. I hadn't had a lot of ryes. Try this thing. Sweet, delicious, smooth, well priced.
One thing I just remembered, it's bottled in bond. It's Rittenhouse rye bottled in bond.
Which put it at 50% ABV. Yeah. Wow.
So it's even, and the fact is, when it had been at our liquor store, they had one bottle, and it was on the bottom shelf. Matter of fact, $22 price range, and with the bourbons and everything down there on the bottom is one Rittenhouse rye bottled in bond, $22, $23. I picked it up. A lot of people had recommended it. You really dug it.
I did. Really, really, really liked it. Surprised me, and it's my number 5.
Well, back in the Rittenhouse, it's more of a peppery, spicy rye. It's not, I wouldn't say a sweet rye, which we'll get with some on my list, more of a sweet rye. True. Rittenhouse is more of a straightforward black pepper spice rye.
Right, and it's one of the earlier ones we had in 2016, which is, again, one reason I'm real excited to come back with this shootout, because some of these I haven't revisited in quite some time. But solid entry for me, really opened up what rye was going to mean for me in 2016.
Well, and the thing is, as we do these, we do one rye, and we get several recommendations. You got to try this rye.
True.
And we do that one, and then several people will say, you got to try this rye.
Right.
We try to.
Sure. Yeah.
But that's what happened with the Rittenhouse.
As long as we can source it. Yeah.
That's what happened with the Rittenhouse. So many people have been recommending
repeatedly. Yeah, people kept saying, get a Rittenhouse. I'm like, what is this Rittenhouse rye everybody's talking about? There's like buzz going on. And then you were like, look what I got. And I was like, Rittenhouse rye.
Bottle and bond.
Bottle and bond. Woo! And now it's number 5 on the list.
My number 5, Whistle Pig 10.
Ooh, nice entry. Nice entry. A little pricey.
It is a little, it's one of the pricier ones.
It is.
Coming in at $90, and that kind of makes me hesitate a little bit, but it is a good rye. Now, the longer a rye spins in the barrel, the mellower it becomes, like a peated Scotch.
Roger that.
So the Whistle Pig is 10 years old, and it's one of what they call a 10-100. 10 years old, a 100 proof.
First of all, that's impressive. The way you just break that out. It's a 10-100. I was like, what?
Well, and there's a few 3 or 4 ryes out there that are labeled the 10-100. Wow,
it's like a secret club. It's like the Ivy Club.
But the Whistle Pig being 10 years old, so the rye is a little bit mellower. It's also been matured in ex-bourbon casks. So it also picks up some bourbon notes to it.
So rather than a virgin oak cask, they're literally sourcing something from bourbon that's been sitting in it 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 years, whatever, bringing it over, throwing the rye in.
Yeah.
Interesting. So it's getting a little bit more of that bourbon influence.
Yeah, and it's not real harsh rye notes. I mean, they're a little bit sweeter, a little bit mellower.
Gotcha. Right, because a lot of times you'll get that pepper, that dill, that real strong, so it's mellowed it out a little.
Which I like as well.
True.
Whistle Pig, really well done, and it's what's in my glass.
Gotcha.
What's in your glass?
We won't get there yet, but My number 4 is the Woodford Reserve Rye. I love Woodford Reserve bourbon, and I really, really like the Woodford Reserve Rye. It feels like it's a more traditional rye. It's got a lot of those bourbon kind of notes in there from what I remember. Again, this goes back, but it's got a lot more of that wood in there. It's not over oaked, but it's got that oaky flavor to it. Very, very nice, professionally done. Feels like it's just been really crafted. And it comes in solid on my list. So
I would agree. The Woodford Reserve, fact is, I bought it at Auburn Spirits. It was $32, and it's been available for a while. Just came into our area though a few months ago. As soon as it showed up on the shelf, I picked up a bottle, popped it. I called cousin Shane. I said, "Whatever you're doing, drop it. Get in your truck, go to Auburn Spirits." Get you a bottle of Woodford Reserve Rye for $32.
I thought he had a smart car. A little Prius.
No.
You can't haul wood.
Well, maybe he does.
Well, don't they make like a...
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
No, but I think they make a Prius that's got a truck bed on it.
Yeah, sure. Wood panels.
Yeah, you can get like 3 2x4s.
Now,
moving through.
All right.
That was my number. My number 4 was Woodford Reserve Rye. What's your 4, brother?
My number 4, Baby Sazerac.
Woo!
And as you say,
why baby?
As you say, Sazerac.
Sazerac. I like it with a Z.
What's that old movie with Kevin Costner, where he's moving across the lands and with the Indians?
Oh, that was Dances with Wolves.
Wolves?
Wolves.
Or woofs?
Wolves.
Wolves.
Wolves. Well, I was wolves.
Wolves.
Right.
Dances.
So we knew a guy named Wolf.
You said woof. No, it's
Wolf. Dances with Wolves has a V in it.
His name wasn't Woof.
It was Wolf. It was Wolf. I'm German. You don't even know.
Wolf. I'm German too.
What? Bruno's German?
I don't say it every episode.
My great-grandfather didn't want to fight for the Kaiser.
That's
all I'm saying. Didn't want to fight for the Kaiser.
Some of my ancestors are German.
I got a distant, third uncle that unfortunately at age 15 was firing anti-aircraft guns at B-17s in Berlin. Not pleasant for him.
Baby Sazerac.
Bring it back, baby. Bring it back. That's brand new. Ain't nobody ever heard that before. Go ahead with the Baby Z, as I like to call it.
What's referred to as the Baby Sazerac.
Because...
And I think it's around 45%.
Why is it the baby?
Because of the Buffalo, the BTAC edition of the Sazerac. So, and it was, I think we did it first, and a lot of people recommended the Rittenhouse. I think I'm going from memory here. But the Sazerac is a really well done, sweet rye, great rye notes. Surprising on the palate when we bought it, and I gave $22 or $24 for it last year, and then price increase.
They bumped it, which made me mad. But then I tasted it, and I had to go get it. You may or may not find this further up on my list. Anything else you want to say?
I wish it was still $22 or $24.
Yes.
We have seen it, $35, $38, and I think it's still worth that.
It is. I mean, it was a
it's
decent
probably
price.
up to $50.
Oh, you think the price currently?
No,
$50?
I'm saying it's worth. If it was, if you really wanted it and it was $50, it's probably worth it.
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
No, right where it's at is the sweet spot. And if they dipped it back down to 22,
supply and demand.
Well, yeah, right. That is. Look at what happened to some other, let's just say, some other companies that decided to do price hike 2017. Didn't go so well for them. Nothing to see here, though. So, no, it's a solid. I love it. You may or may not see it further on my list, but not just yet, because I'm bringing up number 3. Now, this could have almost swapped in or out with, my list is tight. I mean, these could have almost just jockeyed for position, but High West, Double Rye, Utah, just sold for $160 million. Unbelievable what they did with that Double Rye.
$1 million. Yes.
What they did was they took a young rye and an older aged rye, hence the Double Rye, blended them together. Gives a very unique flavor. It's got that spicy kick, but then it's got a lot of those rounded edges, some of that dill, if I remember right. Just Lovely, lovely, very nicely done. You can see, I don't know about 160 million, but whatever they're doing, it's good. I mean, they're really putting it to quality. And what did I do after I had that? That was my first one from High West. What happened right after?
Well, then you went out and bought 2 more.
Boom, Campfire, and then the one I always forget, Beyonce.
Boo-Rye.
Boo-Rye.
Beyonce.
Beyonce Limited, I believe is what it's called. No, I went and got the Boo-Rye. And I was dropping twice the amount because, as misstated, when we reviewed it, I couldn't remember the price. I was thinking it was $54. It's $34.99.
Yeah.
The double rye is $34.99. Great price. Very flavorful, strong, different, unique. I'm curious to see what's going to happen during our shootout with it. That's my number 3.
Well, and the double rye, I didn't really care for. It was okay. It was well done, the blending of the young rye with the old rye. But there was one note in there that I couldn't really decide if I liked it or didn't like it.
And I'm not
It was
going to
different,
deny.
and it was different than other ryes.
It was a little funky.
Yeah,
Yeah,
maybe you thought it was funky. To me, it was just kind of
like
different.
it.
Sometimes I was veering down a path. I was like, yeah, I don't care for this, and then I'm sipping on. I'm like, okay, well, it's not that bad. It's good. And I'm like, no, I don't care for it. No, it's good. But
I'm glad it came near the end of our 2016.
well, let me tell you though too, it's not going to sway me. I'm excited to try the other 2 High West that you bought.
You bet. Yeah.
So,
But you're right. It's different. It's unique, which is why it solidly sits in the middle of my list. Because it's not. I can't say, oh, it's a traditional rye, or it's a young rye, or it's a peppery rye, or it's got a lot of dill. It's somewhat odd. That double rye definitely does some different things, and I'm glad I had it near the end of our 20 ryes, because I was like, oh, I'm appreciating this a little bit more. So, but I see what you're saying. It is different. So,
Yeah.
my number 3.
my number 3, Woodford Reserve rye.
Woo, there we go. We're doubled up, first time on the list. And mine could have flipped around too, so we could have been locked on, but we're not spot on. So what do you like about
But no,
it?
it's one that right when I popped it and I poured it, it made me sit up. A great combination of that Woodford Reserve oak combined with what I thought was a sweet rye. You didn't think it was as sweet as I was. I was getting more sweet rye notes. The rye, the dill pickle,
Well, you're not too far off. A dill pepper thing going on.
orange zest. I remember
Okay.
being it, which comes along with a lot of the ryes, but really like the Woodford Reserve. $32,
Yeah.
number 3.
Still extremely affordable, as you guys, I mean, that could have easily been in my 3 as well. Kudos. I agree with you a lot. My number 2, our second crossover, Sazerac with the Z, baby. Sazerac Jr.,
Sazerac.
which is in the glass. Sweeter. That's what I can tell you. Sweet. I really like my rye. Sweet, little bit doughy even. It's got that rye dough bread. I love that breadiness that comes across in the Sazerac. I'm going to keep mispronouncing, drive you crazy. Love it. I really get that, like, it's not baked rye bread. I feel like it's a dough rye bread. And it brings some of those same flavor profiles that we talked about, but the sweetness that it conveys. Number 2 on my list. I know, I can totally tell why it made your list as well. And I bought it after the price hike. But please keep it in the 30s.
Yeah.
Please.
I think you gave
Because my
30,
bottle's almost gone
32
again.
or 34.
Yeah,
so when you
I need
buy
to
it.
get another bottle of it. If they're going to price hike it, somebody warn me, because I'm going to need to lay in a couple.
I have seen that actually at a shelf on a shelf on the east side of town for $69.99.
Oh, no, don't do that. Don't do that.
You wouldn't pay $69 for your number 2?
I would not.
Yeah.
Because my number 1, you'll find out in a bit.
All right, my number 2, Jack Daniel's Single Barrel Rye,
Quality.
Tennessee rye whiskey.
I agree.
I sat down with it, and one of those 2 made me sit up straight in my chair.
Okay.
Say, wow, what is that? And we're talking about when I sit down with a peated Scotch, or I sit down with a Scotch, or I sit down with a bourbon, or I sit down with a rye or a Canadian
There's
whiskey.
a lot of sitting down.
I've got certain flavor profiles that are cataloged. Basically, okay, this is a bourbon, this is what you should get. This is a rye, this is what you should get. When I sat down with a Jack Daniel's rye, I thought rye whiskey, I'm getting rye notes. And boom, this Jack Daniel's Tennessee charcoal filtering comes through. Half of the palate is charcoal filtering, half of the palate is rye whiskey. And it was a great combination. I didn't expect it, and it floored me, and it's my number 2.
Not on my list, but definitely I could see it as an honorable mention on mine. I did like it. That filtration finish they do with that charcoal maple or whatever is really good.
Yeah.
Really solid. My number 1, Dickel Rye. Inexpensive, all right? Really, really surprised me with that sweetness. Again, I like my rye sweet. That dillish flavor that's in there, it's smooth. And we found out it's not from Tennessee.
No.
We said in the video it was a Tennessee rye. It is sourced rye from MGP in Indiana. I don't care. I love it. And at that price, I think you've told me that you can even find it for $18.99. I think I bought mine for $23. Okay, so we're talking bottom shelf, but top shelf deliciousness. All right, just very, very tasty. I've kind of brought it up on occasion. It kind of defaulted to what I compare other ryes to. I have a rye and I'm like, it's good, but I like the sweetness of the Dickel, or this is tasty, but my goodness, I can get the Dickel for $23. And
that makes it your number 1. You can get it for $23.
I love the flavor and the cost value. I will admit when it was purchased and it was that expensive, I thought, we'll see how this is good. Now, I like the Crown Royal Northern Harvest rye, and it too is a good buy. But I will say it again fits that deal for me where it kind of under-promised, because I thought, what's this going to be? It's this low price, it's a rye, and then it way over-delivered. So it's still about the flavor, but I got to admit, the flavor that I enjoy with that, and then I go try something that's $50 or $60 or 90 like your Whistle Pig, and I'm like, I actually like the Dickel rye better, and it's $19, $20.
You're looking at your return on investment, your ROI.
Well, I could buy 5 Dickels for the price of a Whistle Pig. Say that 3 times.
But see, and like he said, we had to issue a correction because we didn't even. Dickel I think Jack Daniel's is the largest Tennessee distillery, and Dickel is right behind them.
I think you're right.
And
I could be wrong, but I think you're right.
We've had Dickel whiskey.
Yeah.
We assume Tennessee whiskey. It's all over the label.
Right.
With the rye whiskey, it's not. It just says George Dickel rye whiskey.
Point. Yeah.
And we never even noticed. We didn't even think to check.
We got called.
Cousin Shane was on the show. We're singing a Tennessee whiskey.
Tennessee, yeah, and then it's Indiana. We need an Indiana song. Cousin Shane.
We didn't even notice.
Something about Indiana and industrial-sized distilleries.
That'll teach us to assume.
But regardless of all that, MGP in Indiana, you put out one heck of a rye, baby. I can see why they sourced it, because it is delicious. My number 1. I'm constantly saying, how does this compare to other ryes? I just like it. It's a go-to rye for me. It could be a daily sipper. I really, really like it. Your number 1, sir.
Well, your number 1 is $18.99.
Boom! That's right.
Mine's, you can guess, $299.
Yeah, see?
You cannot deny Booker's Rye.
I'm denying.
From the top spot.
Booker's Rye, $300.
That's right.
So my rye,
and worth it.
My rye is the every man and woman rye. Yours is, nope, can't get it. Mine is rare and unique, and it came in a box.
That's right, and I still got a lot of it too.
Do you? Okay, well, say it. I
have sent some samples out.
It's your number 1.
Number 1, Booker's Rye, aged, and I'm going from, I think, 13 years and 2 months, 13 years and 6 months. It's and again, like the
Dickel wasn't aged that long?
Dickel, I don't think is aged that long.
Probably not.
The thing is with the Bookers, though, and I thought about, do I want to make it number 1? Because I kind of like to use whiskeys that you can get.
That they can
most people, that most people. If I say,
and you didn't have some crazy back door. You saw it on the shelf and like insta buy.
Well, I asked Auburn Spirits to see if they
could get it. You wanted it, okay?
So they put an order in.
Gotcha. But it's not like the Booker family sent you a bottle and said no
No.
one else can get this.
No.
Okay.
No. But
I was hoping.
again, like the Whistle Pig that's 10 years old, this one's 13. The longer a rye spins in the barrel, the mellower it becomes. This is such a rich, dark bourbon with mild rye notes, because that rye has really mellowed out.
That's the part I didn't like. Are we going to have this in our rye shootout?
No.
I think we got to.
No.
You don't
You
want it in
can't.
there at all.
You can't.
I mean,
You would.
Don't you want
The
to see how
problem
it
is you would know.
compares?
You would. Yeah, there's no comparison. It's so different than the others. Even the Jack Daniel's single barrel rye is different than all the others.
We got to have it in there.
It'll be in there, but
So we're putting that one in. You don't want the rye in just because nobody can get it, or I think that'd be an interesting one in a blind shootout. Would we notice it?
Oh yeah, you would know.
Oh.
I mean, you would. There's no other rye we've had that's anywhere near like it. It would be like having a Lefroy in a shootout of bourbons.
No.
Yeah.
Put it in the comments, folks. Comment up. Do you want it in the shootout?
Plus
You
it,
still may not. It's your bottle. It's an expensive bottle.
plus
If
it,
you
yeah,
don't
it was
put in.
$300. I don't want that in the shootout.
Sure. If you don't want it in there, then don't put it in. But I believe it would be very, very nice in the shootout.
No.
You got the.
It would.
What if the Dickel? What if you try it blind and the Dickel you rate higher than that blind? That's what I'm saying. I think there's some value there. Like you're like boom, boom. I can tell. Boom. I know because you'll probably know what it tastes like. But what if you did? What if you ended up rating it?
There's no way.
What if you had it blind and it was like bottom?
That would be like
shelf.
if somebody put you in a Ferrari blind,
Yes.
and then a Chrysler minivan,
Subaru.
and said which
say
one was you
Subaru
in?
hatchback. And I just touched the wheel and I'm in that. What did you put me in, a Lamborghini? What was
Ferrari.
it? Oh, close. And I'm like, Subaru, where's my 4-wheel drive drop in? Because God knows I can get confused when I'm in the bucket seat of a car. Confused. So that's your number one. That's very interesting. So again, this is a very similar to 2015 where I was pedestrian and you were high class. You were high finance. You were
I recognize the good stuff.
You were like stock trader bourbon last, because didn't you talk about your BTAC was number one? Yeah, last year you were mocking me because I picked something pedestrian.
Probably $18.99.
So I picked something blue collar. I'm the blue collar rye drinker. All right. Well, what are we gonna do, brother?
Is that all we got to say? I'm trying to
think
think.
that's it.
That cap it.
You want to throw anything else in there? on
Top
that?
5. If you want to know what 5 is to pick up, what ryes to pick up?
What rye? What 5 rye?
Rye
5
whiskey, rye whiskey.
It's a great list. I think we've actually covered the bases pretty darn good. Try your ryes. If you haven't tried them, first of all, you're going to get a good price on most of them. And the flavor profile's just really popping. And a lot of variety in the rye whiskey world. A lot of variety. In our list alone, there's a huge amount of variety.
Well, and I'm going to say it'll make my list next year. And you pointed out it couldn't make my list this year.
Right. Well, we both.
Yeah.
Let's do the caveat.
Yeah.
Asterisk. We were tasting the 1776.
James E. Pepper, 1776 barrel proof rye. The episode just came out last week or 2 weeks ago.
Yes. Just missed making 2016.
It came out in 2017, so yeah, you were right. We couldn't include it.
Well, I mean, we both would have liked to include it. We were testing and tasting this in 2016, but we got busy with all our different shoots, and it just didn't make a 2016 release.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, depending on what ryes we come across, and I know it's early, all right, we're still in January in 2017, but I can almost tell you that will be on a top 5 list for me next year. Unless I get blown away by some other stuff. It's a quality one.
If you want a slap in the face,
don't do it. Don't hit me.
Right. And we'll talk about it more next year. Watch the review for it if you haven't. So
but
check out
there's
some
a caveat.
of our...
Go grab some of that now for your 2017. Don't wait till 2018 for us to talk about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, go grab it now. It's good. Go watch the video. So, but in the meantime, we're gonna scotch it, you Scotch gods.
Cilantro.
Dummies.